Chullin Daf Peites. Yesterday we were learning about Avraham Avinu who said, "Anoichi Ofer V'Efer," and that's Chos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave his sons the mitzvah of paraduma and the dirt that goes into the Soita cup. Today we're learning about the fact that Avraham Avinu said to the king of Zdaim, "I'm not going to enjoy the loot." Im mechut v'atzroich nal. So Klal Yisrael was zeicha to two mitzvahs. The sroich is the ritzua of tefillin, which comprises shakai, shin, dalid, the dalid of the ritzua, and that creates a situation where the other nations are scared of Klal Yisrael v'yaru mimeka when they see the tefillin. And in addition, the chut is referring to the tzitzis, the tchelis on the tzitzis, the blue, which resembles the ocean, which resembles the shamayim, which resembles sapphire, which is under the kisei hakavod. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees the kisei hakavod, he remembers Klal Yisrael who wear his tchelis. From the fact that Avraham Avinu told the king of Zdaim, "I'm returning all the loot, but I cannot return to you the loot that my people took," that tells us that although Avraham Avinu was acting b'midas chasidus, he didn't steal anything, just he didn't want to have anything that looked like stealing. It teaches us a lesson that if somebody were to steal something and he consumed it, it's that much harder to return the gezel. The Torah says, "Lo merubchem mikol ha'amim chashak Hashem bochem." It's not because your numbers are greater, you are greater than other nations. In fact, quite the opposite. You are smaller than other nations, and the reason why I chose you, Klal Yisrael, is because of your midas ha'anova. Like Avraham Avinu said, "Anoichi Ofer V'Efer," Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen said, "V'anachnu ma," which the Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen considered themselves less than Avraham Avinu, who considered himself at least ashes and dirt, whereas Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen didn't consider themselves as anything. And David HaMelech was an Anav as well. He said, "V'anoichi toilas," I am a worm, v'loi ish, I'm not a man. Whereas the Goyim, Nimrod, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him all this power, and what did he do? He made the Dar HaFlaga. Paroi, what did he do with his power? He said, "Mi Hashem." Sancherev, he said, "Mi b'chol elikei ha'arotzois." Nebuchadnezzar said, "I'm going to go up onto the clouds." And Hiram, the king, he built himself 7 floors made out of copper, and he sat on top, begaiva. The pasuk says, "Toila eretz al blima." HaKadosh Baruch Hu hangs the world on a blima. What does the word blima mean? Two pshatim. Could mean belima, without what? In other words, the world is in existence because of Moshe and Aaron who said v'anachnu ma, or it means blima livlom, to stop. When a person is in a fight and he stops and he doesn't answer back, the world exists because of him. Says the Gemara, the world exists for people who make themselves as nothing. They consider themselves nothing, as the pasuk says, "Umitachas zrois olam," that a person that makes himself tachas, that people could trot all over him, then zrois olam loy, he lifts up the world. The world is existent because of him. It says in the pasuk, "Ho'umnam ilaim tzedek tedabrun meisharim tishbetu b'nei adam." Says the Gemara 3 things. It's a person's job in this world to be an ilaim, to be mute, not to talk. But when it comes to Torah, he should talk. He should say as much as he can, yet at the same time, if he's really good in learning, he shouldn't be haughty, he shouldn't be balgaiva, he should act ba'anova, like it says, Mesharim tishbetu b'nei adam. He should be like the path that people walk on. The halacha is that if a person has a lulav or a shofar that's from Avodah Zarah, from Iran Idachas, and we know the concept, since Iran Idachas, the city of Avodah Zarah, you have to burn, so that the lulav and the shofar don't have a shear, whereas a lulav has to be 4 tfachim, it's not considered halachically 4 tfachim. When it comes to kisei adam, there is no specific shear. The concept is to cover the blood, and physically you cover the blood. If it's chopped up, it's even better. We need very thin dirt, so it's good. Saziri, no. When it comes to Iran Idachas, you cannot use the dirt of Iran Idachas, but you could use the lower dirt, the thicker dirt. You can't use A for ashes, but you could use the lower dirt where you have to dig out, because the pasuk says it's called shalala tikvot. It's 2 steps. You take the loot and you gather it, and then v'sarafta, and then you burn it. But it doesn't say anywhere in the Torah that you should dig, gather, and burn. So if you have to dig, that's okay to use it for kisui. Hadrun aloch perek kisui adam. With that, we finish the perek kisui adam, and now we're going to jump into perek gira anosha. Gira anosha is the sciatic nerve. It runs down both thighs of an animal. It says the Mishnah, like all the Mishnahs we had earlier, that this halacha applies in Chutz La'aretz as well. The Isser to eat Ger Anasha is also in America and in Europe and in every other place other than Eretz Yisrael as well. And also in a time where there's no Beis HaMikdash, and also with Kachim with Karbanos. Now the question the Gemara is going to ask is, if an animal was born with a sciatic nerve and an Isser to eat the Ger Anasha, so just because it became a carbon later on, where would that Isser fly away to? The Isser, of course, remains. What's the Chiddush? It applies to a behema like a cow, sheep, goat, as well as to a chaya such as a deer and a gazelle. And, like we said, it applies to both the right and the left thigh. It doesn't apply to a bird because his Ger Anasha is not in the shape of a spoon, and the Ger Anasha has to be shaped like a spoon. If there's an unborn fetus that made it full term to the 9th month by a cow, so if you hold that this fetus is a ben pekua and you don't have to shecht it, then you would hold that you're allowed to eat the Ger Anasha. But if you hold, like Rameir, that this fetus does require shechita, then it's a full animal for all halachas, including Ger Anasha, you wouldn't be able to eat it. Rameir says that you cannot trust a butcher to say that he removed the Ger Anasha. It's something that's very difficult to do, so we don't trust him. Chacham say, not only do we trust him to say that he removed the Ger Anasha, we trust him to say that he removed the chaylev as well. In order to be chayav, when you eat kachim, says the Gemara, it has to be something that's roy la'achila, something that you could benefit by eating. So our Mishnah holds that the Ger Anasha imparts flavor, nois and tam, it gives flavor, and therefore, if you ate the Ger Anasha, if you ate kachim, you would be chayav on Ger Anasha as well as kachim. The question is, which Isser came first? If the Isser of Ger Anasha came first, and then you're trying to add to it another Isser called Kachim, that's obvious. Because the Isser of Ger Anasha is only a lav, whereas the Isser of Kachim is Karis. And it's an Isser Moisif, it's a Chamur, Isser Chamur, and it would add on to the Ger Anasha, and there's no need for the Mishnah to tell us that. And if the Isser of Kachim came first, then the Isser of Ger Anasha would not apply itself to the Isser of Kachim. Says the Gemara at this point, and we'll see a lot more of this tomorrow, that perhaps both of them came together. In what scenario? Where the mother was a karban, and she conceived while she was a karban, while she was kachim, so the fetus, as it was conceived, was kachim, and the Ger Anasha came together at the same second. Ask the Gemara, but that doesn't work. Because we see by a nazir, that if a nazir touches a kazayis of a dead person, he has to restart his 30-day count. If he touched a sheretz, for instance, he doesn't have to. And says the Braisa, that even if he touched a unborn fetus that didn't come to full term and doesn't have a Ger Anasha, he also has to start his count of 30 days. So what do you see? That a fetus that's unborn is kachim, can be kachim when it doesn't have a Ger Anasha. So they don't come at the same time. Says the Gemara, you're right. At this point, the Gemara says they don't come at the same time. First comes kachim. But since Ger Anasha was an Isser that preceded Matan Torah and preceded Klal Yisrael when they were still called Bnei Noach, so it's such a strong Isser that it could go on top of the Isser of Kachim. First came Kachim, then came Ger Anasha, and have